Picture this. You're standing at a concert, feeling the bass thumping in your chest. The sound waves pulse through your body, and you're not just hearing the music, you're feeling it. But what if I told you that what you're experiencing isn't just sound? What if your body is tapping into a deeper connection, sensing something far more complex, an unseen, vibratory resonance that links you to the world around you? Now imagine if your body could align with the rhythms, frequencies, and electromagnetic fields in the environment, syncing up in ways we've barely begun to understand. This idea, which we'll call biological resonance, suggests that your body is always in tune with the natural and artificial forces surrounding it, not just through obvious sensations like touch, but through the invisible patterns of energy, magnetism, and vibration that shape our world. We see remarkable examples of this in nature. Birds use Earth's magnetic fields to migrate across thousands of miles. Electric fish detect and generate electric fields to hunt in murky waters. These species are literally resonating with their environment, picking up on fields and forces we can't see. And here's the question. What if humans too have this capacity, albeit in ways we don't fully understand yet? This isn't just a thought experiment. It's grounded in science. We already know that our bodies rely on bioelectricity to function. Our nervous system communicates via electrical impulses, and studies on the effects of electromagnetic fields on living organisms show that we're deeply connected to invisible forces. Today we'll introduce you to two specialized nerve receptors in your skin, Pacinian and Meissner corpuscles, that have long been recognized as crucial to our ability to sense vibration through touch. We will suggest that these receptors form a broader resonance system, linking us to vibrations, electrical fields, and even magnetic waves in ways that affect our nervous system, our well-being, and our connection to the environment. So today, we're going to explore how the receptors in your skin, the ones you rely on to feel the world around you, might be doing more than just detecting touch. We will explore how receptors in your skin might not only respond to the obvious things like touch and vibration, but may also detect electromagnetic fields, creating direct pathways into your nervous system. And we will explore how these unseen forces could be tuning us into our surroundings in ways we've barely begun to understand, and might just hold the key to profound sensory integration between us and the world. We all know that when we touch something, whether it's smooth, rough, hot, or cold, specialized receptors in our skin send signals to the brain, allowing us to interpret those sensations. But there are two types of receptors that we believe are at the core of biological resonance: Pacinian corpuscles and Meissner corpuscles. Please forgive the depth of this explanation, but understanding how the receptors work individually is important to understanding how the system can work in concert. These specialized receptors are part of your somatosensory system, designed to detect different types of mechanical stimuli. Both Pacinian and Meissner corpuscles share several key characteristics that make them vital players in our tactile perception. Both corpuscles detect mechanical forces and convert them into electrical signals. This process, known as mechanotransduction, is critical for how our body interprets touch and pressure. When stimulated, they trigger mechanically gated ion channels that allow ions like sodium to enter the nerve terminal, generating an action potential, electrical signal that is sent to the brain. Both types of corpuscles are rapidly adapting receptors, meaning they are highly responsive to initial changes in stimuli, like the onset of a touch or vibration, but quickly stop responding if the stimulus remains constant. This ensures that they are particularly good at detecting dynamic changes in the environment rather than continuous pressure. Once activated, these receptors send signals directly to the brain via the afferent sensory neurons, meaning there's a direct, unmediated pathway between the receptors in your skin and the central nervous system. This allows for immediate tactile feedback, which is crucial for tasks that require fine motor control and fast responses, such as picking up objects or feeling the texture of a surface. Despite these similarities, Pacinian and Meissner corpuscles have evolved to specialize in different types of tactile information, and understanding their differences is key to grasping how our skin detects such a wide range of sensations. Pacinian corpuscles, or lamellar corpuscles, are marvels of biological design, optimized for detecting high-frequency vibrations and deep pressure changes. What sets them apart is their unique onion-like structure, composed of multiple layers, or lamellae, of Schwann cells and connective tissue that surround a central nerve ending. When a vibration or pressure deforms these outer layers, the energy is transferred inward toward the nerve terminal. This structure is not just for protection. It is a key part of how Pacinian corpuscles detect and resonate with mechanical waves. Think of it like a finely tuned resonance chamber. When exposed to vibrations, especially those in the high-frequency range, from around 40 Hz to as high as 800 Hz, the lamellae of the Pacinian corpuscle act as a sophisticated mechanical filter. Here's how it works. When a high-frequency vibration reaches the skin, the outer layers of the corpuscle experience a deformation. Because of the concentric arrangement of the lamellae, the vibration causes these layers to compress and shift in a controlled way. The fluid-filled spaces between the lamellae allowed this movement to be smooth and precise, like shock absorbers in a vehicle. The vibratory energy isn't just transmitted linearly, it's confined within the circular structure of the lamellae, allowing for vibrational resonance to occur. This means that vibrations tend to form stable resonant patterns within the corpuscle. These patterns persist as long as the stimulus is applied, allowing the receptor to maintain sensitivity to continued vibration. Essentially, the structure's curvature and layering are designed to hold the resonant energy, amplifying the vibrational input and maintaining it long enough for the nerve ending to fire repeatedly during the stimulus. When the vibration stops, the lamellae return to their original positions, similar to how a spring returns to its resting state when tension is released. This return to the baseline is another moment when the Pacinian corpuscle becomes highly active. This is why you often notice the cessation of a vibration, even if you've grown accustomed to it. The end of the vibration causes the layers to rapidly adjust back to their natural state, triggering the receptor one last time to signal that the stimulus has stopped. The onion-shaped lamella design isn't just a quirky structural feature. It's crucial for allowing the Pacinian corpuscle to behave like a mechanical resonator. By confining the vibration to a stable, enclosed environment, the corpuscle enhances its sensitivity to high-frequency waves and ensures that it responds to even small deformations in the skin. This design enables the corpuscle to hold on to vibrations longer than you might expect for such a rapid adapting receptor, while ensuring that only rapid, transient changes like high-frequency buzzes or taps elicit a strong neural response. Because Pacinian corpuscles are deep in the skin and are optimized for vibrational resonance, they provide feedback about dynamic interactions with the environment, from feeling the vibrations of machinery to detecting subtle tremors in tools. Their response to vibrational stimuli is fine-tuned, making them ideal for detecting high-frequency patterns and stabilized resonant waves created by mechanical impacts. To fully understand how vibration interacts with the nervous system, we would also explain Meissner corpuscles, whose simpler structure is more attuned to lower frequencies. Meissner corpuscles are mechanoreceptors located just beneath the surface of the skin, particularly in areas where we need fine tactile sensitivity, like the fingertips, palms, and lips. While often associated with light touch, Meissner corpuscles play a crucial role in detecting low-frequency vibrations, those delicate, repetitive oscillations that help us perceive movement and texture. The structure of Meissner corpuscles makes them highly responsive to low-frequency vibrations, typically below 50 Hz. When a low-frequency vibration causes the skin to deform slightly, these receptors fire in response, sending signals to the brain that convey information about the intensity and frequency of the vibration. As you run your fingers over a textured surface, the skin experiences tiny rhythmic deformations, vibrations that are too subtle for deep receptors like Pacinian corpuscles to detect. Meissner corpuscles excel at sensing these low-frequency oscillations, allowing us to perceive fine details like the roughness of fabric or the ridges of a coin. While Meissner corpuscles may not create the same resonance effects as Pacinian corpuscles, their superficial location and responsiveness to low-frequency vibrations make them essential for detecting finer, more delicate vibratory patterns. This allows us to sense soft movements, fluttering touches, and surface textures that would otherwise go unnoticed. Their role in vibration detection is subtle but critical. By picking up low-frequency oscillations from our interactions with objects and surfaces, Meissner corpuscles provide the detailed sensory feedback necessary for tasks that require fine motor control and tactile precision. Together, Pacinian and Meissner corpuscles cover a broad spectrum of tactile sensations. While Pacinian corpuscles specialize in detecting deep, high-frequency vibrations, Meissner corpuscles are tuned to light, low-frequency touch and the exploration of surface textures. This complementary relationship allows your body to perceive a wide range of tactile information, from the heavy thrum of an engine to the soft brush of fabric against your skin. By working in tandem, these mechanoreceptors provide your brain with a detailed map of the physical world. But as we explore the potential of biological resonance, we begin to see that their role may extend beyond basic touch perception. These receptors, finely tuned to mechanical changes, could also be sensitive to vibratory and electromagnetic fields in ways that we're only just beginning to understand. Whether it's detecting the subtle vibrations of sound waves or responding to the resonance generated by ancient structures, Pacinian and Meissner corpuscles may be the key to unlocking the mysteries of how our bodies interact with both the visible and invisible forces of the world. Now that we've explored how Pacinian and Meissner corpuscles detect vibrations, let's look at something even more fundamental. The fact that these receptors are directly wired into the nervous system. These corpuscles are axon endpoints, meaning they are hardwired into a chain that leads straight into your spinal cord and brain. Pacinian and Meissner corpuscles are not just passive sensors sitting in the skin, they are part of the nerve endings themselves. At their core, these corpuscles are attached to the dendrites of sensory neurons, meaning that when they detect mechanical changes, they generate electrical signals that travel directly along afferent sensory neurons to the spinal cord and then to the brain. There's no intermediary processing layer between the stimulus and the nervous system, making this a highly efficient and direct pathway for sensory input. This direct, unmediated pathway sets these receptors apart from other sensory systems like hearing, where sound waves must travel through a series of mechanical transformations before being processed by the brain. In the ear, sound waves are funneled through the eardrum, ossicles, tiny bones, and the cochlea, where they are finally converted into electrical signals. This mechanical chain filters and modulates what we can hear, limiting our perception to certain frequencies. For example, humans can hear only a limited range of sounds, while dogs, for instance, can hear much higher frequencies. The auditory system is an impressive yet indirect process. In contrast, Pacinian and Meissner corpuscles bypass this type of mechanical mediation. Vibrations are detected directly within the neurons, meaning the signal pathway from skin to brain is faster and more immediate. There is no mechanical filtering or intermediate processing. The vibrations your skin feels are translated directly into neural activity. This gives these mechanoreceptors a unique capability for fast, precise detection of mechanical stimuli, whether from localized touch or broader environmental vibrations. Until now, most of the research on these receptors has focused on their role in localized sensations of touch and pressure, how they respond to direct physical contact with an object or surface, and research on music and frequency's effect on the body has concentrated on the auditory pathway. So here is the obvious question. What if these receptors play a role in our detection and perception of more ambient vibrations in the environment, such as sound? Is it possible that music on a stereo has an entirely different effect than that listened to on AirPods? We know that Pacinian corpuscles are finely tuned to detect high-frequency vibrations, and Meissner corpuscles are sensitive to low-frequency oscillations. Both respond rapidly to dynamic changes in mechanical stimuli. This specialization suggests that they could also pick up background vibrations from the environment, not just from objects we touch, but from vibrational energy traveling through air, water, or even the ground. Consider a scenario where you're standing near a construction site. The vibrations from the machinery and ground travel through the air in your body, even if you're not in direct contact with the source. These ambient vibrations could be subtle but significant enough to trigger the resonance within your Pacinian corpuscles or the delicate oscillations detected by your Meissner corpuscles. The sensory information from these ambient stimuli would be processed in the same way as localized touch. directly through the neurons connected to these receptors, signaling your brain about the environmental changes. This idea is significant because it suggests that these receptors provide a pathway for ambient environmental forces to influence the nervous system. Just as localized touch creates a direct neural response, ambient vibrations could trigger these receptors in a way that influences perception, nervous system activity, or even mood. This broadens the role of these mechanoreceptors from simple tactile sensors to more comprehensive environmental detectors, constantly monitoring and translating the vibrational energy of the world around us into neural signals. Now, if ambient mechanical vibrations can be perceived through these mechanoreceptors, it opens the door to a broader hypothesis. Could these receptors also pick up on electromagnetic fields or other non-mechanical environmental forces? We've already established that these receptors are part of the nervous system's electrical circuitry. Their ion channels respond to mechanical forces, but similar ion channel mechanisms in other sensory neurons, such as those responsible for hearing or sight, are sensitive to different types of energy. It's possible that electric or magnetic fields could interact with the ion-rich environments inside these receptors, triggering similar neural responses. While most of the research has focused on mechanical stimuli, we propose that these receptors might also be sensitive to certain electromagnetic waves. This idea ties back to what we've seen in animals that can detect electric or magnetic fields. If these animals can detect non-mechanical fields, might our own mechanoreceptors also be subtly tuned to these forces? Electric fish, for example, have specialized receptors that allow them to detect and generate electric fields. Birds use magnetic fields to migrate. And even in mammals, there are early studies suggesting that we might be sensitive to certain electromagnetic frequencies. Could our skin be doing something similar, with Pacinian and Meissner corpuscles acting as biological sensors for these forces? If these receptors are directly wired into our nervous system, it's plausible that they could provide a pathway for more than just physical touch. And there's emerging research that suggests this might be the case. Early studies in bioelectricity, for example, show that electric fields can influence the way cells communicate and neurons fire. We've even seen evidence that magnetic fields can alter the activity of certain sensory neurons in non-human animals. So, the groundwork is there. It's just a matter of discovering whether human skin could be tuned in the same way. To understand how these receptors could detect electromagnetic fields, we need to take a closer look at their structure. Inside each Pacinian corpuscle, for example, is an onion-like arrangement of layers, concentric rings of connective tissue and fluid that surround a central nerve ending. This design allows the receptor to respond rapidly to mechanical changes. But it also means that the space around the nerve ending is ion-rich, which is important because ions, charged particles, are highly sensitive to electric and magnetic fields. When a vibration or mechanical force hits a Pacinian corpuscle, it deforms these layers, triggering ion channels in the nerve membrane to open. But if external electric or magnetic fields influence the movement of these ions, they could also trigger a response. And this isn't purely theoretical. We already know that magnetic fields can induce currents in ion-rich fluids, and electric fields can change the membrane potential of neurons. So it's not a stretch to hypothesize that in the right circumstances, Pacinian and Meissner corpuscles could respond to these invisible forces, just as they do to physical vibrations. You see, the corpuscles are embedded in layers of connective tissue, fluid, and Schwann cells, all designed to respond to mechanical deformation. But this structure also contains membranes and ion channels, basically the building blocks that could make them sensitive to external electrical fields. Now, there is still much to discover, but early findings from electromagnetic research suggest that biological systems can indeed detect and respond to these fields. Some studies have shown that low-frequency electromagnetic fields can affect neural activity, leading to changes in how signals are transmitted. Could this be happening in our skin? It's an exciting area of research, and we're only just beginning to understand the possibilities. What we're proposing is that these sensory receptors, which we already know are capable of detecting the physical, might also be sensitive to the electrical and magnetic, giving us a direct line of communication between the environment and the nervous system in ways we've yet to fully explore. This brings us back to the concept of biological resonance, a fascinating idea that can help us bring all of these influences together. In simple terms, resonance occurs when different elements vibrate in sync with one another. It's the principle behind how musical instruments work, how brainwaves sync with external rhythms, or how cells in the body communicate. What if the mechanoreceptors in our skin, like Pacinian and Meissner corpuscles, are part of a broader system of biological resonance, tuning us to the world around us? Not just through touch, but through the combined effects of vibrations, electrical fields, and magnetic waves. Think about it. Resonance is already everywhere in nature. Your circadian rhythm syncs with the light and dark cycles of the earth. Your heartbeat can entrain with music, and even brain waves can fall into sync with external frequencies. If mechanoreceptors act as part of this biological tuning system, then they could be receiving and aligning with all sorts of environmental signals, even those we can't consciously perceive. What's really exciting about this idea is that it suggests these receptors could be responding not only to isolated stimuli like touch or vibration, but also to synchronous inputs across the entire body. Imagine the entire network of your mechanoreceptors receiving a rhythmic, coordinated stimulus, like a vibration or pulse. This would create a systemic alignment, a kind of harmonization of your body's sensory inputs. The entire nervous system could fall into sync, creating a profound sense of biological coherence. This isn't science fiction. Consider what happens when multiple stimuli, vibrations, electromagnetic fields, or electrical impulses reach your body at the same time and in sync. This brings us to the concept of entrainment. Entrainment is when a biological system, like your brain, your heart, or even your cells, begins to align with an external rhythm. It's something we experience every day. Think about how your circadian rhythm syncs with the cycle of day and night, helping regulate your sleep patterns. Or how brainwave entrainment can occur when exposure to certain frequencies can alter the brain's electrical activity, putting you in a state of relaxation or focus. But entrainment isn't just about the brain. Imagine your mechanoreceptors spread all across your body, being stimulated simultaneously by a rhythmic external force. If this force, a vibration or electromagnetic pulse, is synchronized, it could result in a systemic effect, aligning the activity of mechanoreceptors across your skin, and by extension, influencing your entire nervous system. When these signals are received across the body, they don't just create isolated sensations. They could synchronize, creating a system-wide alignment. This is the same principle we see in vibroacoustic therapy, where rhythmic sound waves are used to promote relaxation and healing. The synchronization of external stimuli might not only calm the nervous system, but also regulate it, bringing everything into harmony, from neural circuits to emotional states. This ability to align the nervous system using rhythmic inputs could lead to powerful therapeutic effects. Think about what happens when you listen to music with a strong beat. Your heart starts to race, you tap your foot, maybe your mood lifts. But what if this effect is more profound than we realize? If it is true that your entire nervous system is responding, you may be experiencing more than mood elevation. These experiences could have profound physiological effects. When we talk about biological resonance, we're talking about something that has the potential to revolutionize our approach to health and well-being. We already know that vibroacoustic therapy, which uses sound waves, can help relieve stress, enhance physical recovery, and improve circulation. For instance, athletes use this therapy to speed up recovery after intense workouts, as the rhythmic vibrations stimulate mechanoreceptors, sending signals throughout the body to promote healing. Similarly, pulsed electromagnetic field, PMF therapy, has shown real results in managing chronic pain, reducing inflammation, and even enhancing bone healing. The way PEMF works is by sending low-frequency electromagnetic pulses through the body, which seem to influence how cells and nerve pathways communicate. If our mechanoreceptors are tuned into these electromagnetic signals, this therapy could be activating our body's resonance potential, aligning our nervous system with these therapeutic frequencies. The more we understand about the sensitivity of these receptors to electrical and magnetic fields, the more potential we have to develop new forms of treatment. Imagine being able to modulate your nervous system with precisely tuned signals, improving mental health, boosting physical recovery, or even achieving a heightened state of focus or relaxation. Now, what if I told you that the concept of biological resonance might also hold the key to understanding some of the greatest mysteries of the ancient world? You may be familiar with theories about how ancient civilizations, like those who built the pyramids or the great stone circles, may have used these structures as resonance generators. For years, these ideas have been dismissed as fringe or pseudoscience because no one could propose a plausible scientific mechanism. But what if this science, what we're talking about right now, offers that missing link? Let's consider this. Megalithic structures are often positioned with precision, aligned with astronomical events and built in ways that seem to amplify sound or vibration. Pyramids, for example, have been theorized to generate resonant frequencies due to their shape and internal structure. Many ancient cultures, from Egypt to the Druids, seem to understand something profound about vibration and alignment, concepts central to biological resonance. If these structures were designed to generate and channel frequencies, then what was their purpose? Here's where it gets really interesting. The human body, particularly through receptors like the Pacinian and Meissner corpuscles, is exquisitely sensitive to vibrations and resonance. These ancient builders may have been using these structures to create frequencies that could entrain the body's natural resonance systems, aligning people's nervous systems with the rhythms of the earth or celestial cycles. In other words, these ancient monuments might have been designed to amplify biological resonance, tuning the human body to a higher state of awareness, healing, or even consciousness. By understanding the mechanisms of resonance through modern science, we can begin to unravel the practical effects these structures may have had. Were the pyramids built to harness Earth's natural frequencies to promote well-being? Were stone circles positioned to align human resonance with the cosmic rhythms of the stars? These are questions that have fascinated scholars for centuries, and now, through the lens of biological resonance, we may be on the cusp of answering them. What we're really talking about here is a new frontier in sensory science, a deeper understanding of how humans interact with the world on a level beyond the traditional five senses. We've always known that we're influenced by our surroundings, but this idea of biological resonance suggests we might be sensing the environment in ways we never imagined. From the natural rhythms of the Earth, like circadian cycles, gravitational forces, and geomagnetic fields, to the artificial signals in our daily lives, like Wi-Fi, power grids, and the electromagnetic waves that surround us, our bodies might be constantly tuning into these frequencies. Our skin, which we usually think of as just a barrier or a shield, might actually be a sophisticated sensor network that tunes us to the vibrations, fields, and forces all around us. Ancient civilizations saw their connection to the environment. The placement of megalithic sites often suggests a deep understanding of geological and astronomical forces. Many of these sites are positioned along ley lines, hypothetical alignments of Earth's natural energy fields. Could it be that these ancient builders knew how to tap into these natural resonances, not only to align their structures, but to align themselves with the Earth? When we talk about biological resonance today, we're only beginning to explore how our bodies interact with the invisible forces of the environment, electromagnetic fields, geological vibrations, even solar and lunar cycles. But ancient cultures may have already been in tune with these rhythms. By aligning their temples, pyramids, and stone circles with these forces, they could have been creating spaces where human beings could experience resonance with the cosmos, a profound alignment that goes far beyond simple architecture. Imagine standing inside a stone circle surrounded by carefully placed monoliths, each one amplifying a natural frequency. You're not just standing in a structure, you're inside a resonance field that aligns your body's energy with the earth and sky. This idea might sound far-fetched, but it's rooted in the same principles we're now discovering through scientific research. If modern therapies like PAMF and vibroacoustic therapy work by entraining the body's resonance, then it's not hard to imagine that ancient builders were doing something similar on a grander scale. By revisiting these ancient technologies through the lens of biological resonance, we might be able to reconnect with an ancient understanding of how humans interacted with their environment. This isn't just a historical curiosity, it's a potential paradigm shift in how we understand the connection between humans and natural forces. Could it be that by studying these structures, we're not just unlocking the past, but discovering new ways to resonate with the world around us in the future? We started this journey by talking about something simple, touch. But along the way, we've opened up a door to something much bigger. The concept of biological resonance doesn't just explain how our bodies might respond to modern technologies and therapies. It might also provide the scientific foundation for understanding the ancient technologies that have fascinated us for generations. By exploring how Pacinian and Meissner corpuscles could detect and align with vibrations and fields, we're beginning to uncover a mechanism that could explain how ancient civilizations harnessed resonance to achieve effects we're only just beginning to understand. This science could be the key to unlocking the mysteries of the pyramids, the stone circles, and other megalithic sites, revealing that these weren't just monuments, but sophisticated resonance generators designed to interact with the human body and the environment. What if these ancient builders knew something about human resonance that we've lost over the centuries? And what if, by rediscovering this ancient wisdom through modern science, we could find new ways to align ourselves with the natural forces of the earth and sky? This isn't just about understanding the past, it's about tapping into a timeless connection that unites us with the world around us. So as we continue to study the effects of resonance on the body and the nervous system, let's remember that we're not just exploring a new frontier of science. We're also rediscovering something ancient, something our ancestors may have known intuitively, that we are all part of a greater resonance. A resonance that connects us to each other, to the earth, and to the cosmos.